you very much. Thank you very much. I cannot tell you how honored I am to be here with you on this occasion. And I want to let you know that the more I learn about your university, the more I imagine what universities could be like. And extremely impressed, even though I've been here for such a short period of time. So I, as one who goes around the world, many different institutions, okay? I can tell you, in all honesty, you got something going. You'll be proud of yourself. And I want to learn more about what you're doing, because it's no coincidence that James Farmer was associated with your institution. No coincidence. But before I go further, I want to say that I'm proud to have my wife, Kate Lafayette, with me. And I do very intensive research, and I'll share some of that with you. And one of the things that has come to my mind and knowledge as a result of research is that men who have women in their lives who care about their health and their food and medication live longer. Yes. That's what the statistics show. So if you don't want to live long, don't fool with any women. And I assure you that you will have a soon-to-come eulogy. Yes. Now, the longest livers in the U.S. among the men also are country preachers. So if you want to stretch out some more years, get you a country church. Yes. But we're glad to be here. And I know that I'm going to heaven. The Lord did not want to make a mistake, so he sent his own angel down here to show me the way. Okay, my wife. And once in a while, she allows me to have a slice of cake. And I celebrate everybody's birthday. So if you have a birthday coming, just let me know, and I'll do the best I can to get there. So give me some ice cream and cake. Yeah. So, by the way, here's history right there. And some of you are going to swarm there, because here is somebody whose mother, that's my wife, had George Washington Carver at her house to help her take care of her plants. She lived 1 block from Tuskegee University. Yeah. And her father was the office boy for none other than Booker T. Washington. So he started the first public housing in Tuskegee. Yeah, and he owned the first supermarket in Tuskegee, black supermarket. That's when they were boycotting downtown because of the folks in Tuskegee decided that they would do is to divide the city. And this small town has 2 zip codes because the ones in power during that period decided to redraw the city limits and put all the black folk out of town. Yeah. William versus Lightfoot. That's the case, court case. So the black society, well, since they were out of town, they went to shop downtown. Okay? And grass began to grow through the cracks on the sidewalk. But our father built a supermarket so that blacks would not have to travel all over, out of so far to get food. And guess what? Big, nice supermarket. And the bread man who delivered bread wholesale one day delivered not buns, but bomb. Blew the place down. Yeah, right into the ground. And guess what? Her father stood on the front steps of the store in the smoke from the fire and said, "We will build again." Yes, we will build again. And that is the topic of my talk tonight. We will build again. Stores, not walls. So I'm going to be brief in my chat with you, and that's what you can call this, a chat. Because I'm so anxious to hear some of the questions from our young people. I want to give them opportunity to be able to share their thinking with us. We need to know what they're thinking. The 5th graders don't have any problem. They ask you questions all day long. Their hands are still in the air even when they go to the restroom. But I want to challenge our college students and some high school students as well to share with us some of the questions that you might have on your mind. Because we've got to build again. So many things have been torn down. So I'm going to share with you some of our movement experiences, and then we're going to open up and talk about where we are at this point in our history. Now, the first thing is that history is very important. So make sure in all you're getting, get you some history. Because if you don't know your history, the future is going to be a mystery. It's only understanding your history that you can look at your future. Putting things in context, let us understand that it's a short period of time for our young people who are in school. They say you're school age. School age. So there are different ages that we identify in our lifetime. So school age. 12 years in public school, while people are going to public school or private school, and then you get 4 years of college. That's a very short period of time. But this is when you actually come to understand who you are and who we are. So that's a short period of time when you look at it. As some of you know, individuals who started out in school with you, but they're no longer with us. Unfortunately, it's not because they chose to leave. Well, some did, but some had their lives taken away. So what is this all about anyway? This lifespan, they call it. And then you think about these people who are living and celebrating 100th birthday and all that. And there are others who never got a chance to celebrate. So I lost a brother at age 4, and he was only 4 months. So I had to learn to live with that. I used to rock him in his bassinet. And I used to sing to him, cheer up, my brother, live in the sunshine. We'll understand it all by and by. And I used to be 4 years old. And I had this little brother. I was so excited and so proud. And then all I know at age 4 is that he was no longer with me. So I had sisters. That was such a blessing. All these sisters. I got 5. And I'm the older one, so I had to learn how to take care of girls. Dress them and learn how to plait their hair and learn how to buy their clothes. Moving along very quickly, I used to hang out with my grandmother. Yeah. Everywhere she went, I was right on her dress tail. I know all about older women. Everything. And I came to understand that there was something special about women. And then when I did the research and I got curious when I got in college, I found out that women have more nodules on their brain. Men don't know that. The women keep it a secret. Don't tell them. They know. Okay? Yeah, they got more nodules on their brain. Which means that they are versatile. They multitask. That's why they can do so many things at one time. I discovered that from practical experience also, because these sisters I had, they used to always have conversations going back and forth and talk, and they could have among them 4 conversations among 3 women. And men be saying, could you, I'm trying to listen to what, I can't, I only got 2 years, but I can't have 5 conversations at the same time. They multitask. They're able to handle all of these different things at one time. Cooking, you have to have a certain temperature, you know, before you put this in here and all. And you got to get the medication, you know, for the grandmama. And you got to change the diaper for the little baby and all that. And all those things at one time. Keep them going. See that? They know. So I'm letting y'all know. Okay? Yeah. That's what's happening. And playing jazz. That's why if these women decided to really get into jazz, they can handle it because they can blend all those different melodies put these together, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, same time. So there's a purpose for everybody. All right? And what we have to do is learn to discover our purpose. So at 7 years old, I had this experience in Tampa, Florida, on the streetcar. Those were cable cars, y'all call them now, okay? Cable cars. And what happened is it was segregated, and we used to have to go and deposit our money, coins, in the receptacle in the front of the streetcar, get off, walk down the steps, and walk along the side of the streetcar, and then enter through the back door. It wasn't like the buses where you have so many people sitting and they keep on sitting. No, they had a rubberized curtain, and that was only the section for black folks. Down in Florida. And so I used to go with my grandmother, deposit the money, and then I'd jump off and run to the back and try to jump on the steps. Because sometimes the conductor would take your money and then close the door and drive off. If you can keep the steps down, you can keep the door open. 7 years old. So I did my little thing, and my grandmother was running too. She was running behind me, and I jumped up on the steps, and she fell. Her heel got caught in the cracks around the track. And she was no lightweight woman. Her mother, my great-grandmother, weighed 500 pounds. Yeah. She was Native American. Seminole Indian. Okay? In fact, she used to be the fat lady in the fair. You know the Bonham Fair? It used to be when y'all were little. Yeah, that's why she was a fat lady. Yeah. So here I was trying to pick my grandmother up and then trying to hold the door and the steps and everything, and by the time I reached for my grandmother, the conductor closed the door and took off with our money. I felt like a sword had cut me in half. And I remember at the age of 7, that incident. And I'm told that at age 7, if you think back, there's something you experienced that you will never forget. Age 7. I know what I experienced. And I also remember what I said to myself, privately to myself at that moment. I said, when I get grown, I'm going to do something about that problem. So I got in the movement because of my grandmother. That was the grandchildren. I wanted this thing to come on. I couldn't wait to get grown. I don't remember childhood. From that day on, I don't remember any childhood. They used to call me little man. Because I used to act grown. Even at age 7, yeah. But that's what happened. So moving ahead very swiftly, I went to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania right after the war. My parents migrated up there. And I went to an integrated school. The principal was Jewish, Mr. Rosenbaum. So well, how does he remember all that stuff way back then? He can't remember what happened last week. I remember the details. I remember Miss Ward took me home to her house and on Saturdays and tutored me so I could catch up to the 4th grade because I was a little behind. I was a commencement speaker at my elementary graduation. I don't remember the speech, but I remember the title. Living and Working Together. That was my title. I remember I also felt kind of bad because Betsy White wanted to be the speaker and she planned so hard and the teachers selected me, and I tried to negotiate with them and said, let's have 2 speakers. But they wouldn't go for it. I guess I wasn't convincing. So anyway, back to Florida after elementary graduation. Parents stayed in Philadelphia, but they sent me back to Florida because my grandmother was bedridden. And they sent me as a 12-year-old to go and take care of my sick grandmother. and to take my two sisters with me. One was 8 months old. Okay, yes. I took them on the train, the Champion. Yeah, the Champion. Took them back to Florida. And I took care of the little girls and my older grandmother. That's how I learned how to cook. From her bedside instructions. And I could cook. Yeah. Make some cornbread, collard greens. Yeah, pig feet and all that. Yeah. I can cook. Okay. Yeah. So I had to learn how to handle situations as a grown person, even when I was young. Moving ahead fast, John Lewis. My grandmother was the one that made me go to college. I was working. I didn't have time to be going to college. I was making a lot of money already. You know, yeah, working in a drugstore, you know. I was a pharmacist, unlicensed pharmacist. Well, you know, they had one pharmacist there and it was overcrowded. You know how it is at the drugstore. That's why folks have to be waiting and stuff. But not only would I pour the medicine out and that kind of stuff, etc., I used to deliver to the people who couldn't come and get their own medication. I was busy. My grandmother said, you got to go to school, boy. And she finished the 3rd grade. So she knew the importance of education. So I went on up to American Baptist College because that was the only one left. John Lewis, yeah, roommate. Come telling me I ought to come to some workshops. Come to some workshops. Jim Lawson was conducting workshops. I was too busy. I was the assistant librarian. I used to wash the pots and pans during the lunch hour, okay? And the janitor to the 3rd floor. How did I have time to do some workshop? He said, you always be talking about these issues and things. You need to come to the workshop. So I went to shut his mouth. Some of you saw the movie on John Lewis and that kind of thing. How many of y'all saw that the other night? Some of you did? Good. Keep watching. It still plays. So I went to close his mouth. When I got there, I was speechless. Yeah. I dropped everything. Got involved in that. Because after all, I wanted the opportunity to change things. It was in me. So I jumped right in. Greensboro, North Carolina, they had a chaplain over there, and he called Jim Lawson and said, we're sitting in here, can y'all do anything to help us or have a sympathy demonstration or whatever? We'd already started in '59 doing our training in nonviolence. We didn't have a sit-in now as a protest, but we sat in as a test. Let me explain that because I do a lot of play on words. Okay. In other words, we went and we sat in to see what this climate was going to be. When they started yelling and screaming at us and shouting and cursing and carrying on, when the police came, we left and went back and we had what we call a role play, social drama. In other words, dramatize what you had experienced. Now, you know what the purpose of that was? That was getting us ready. That was part of our training. Yeah, it was boot camp. Yeah. We weren't there to fight, we did a practice and get used to hearing bombs drop. Get used to hearing folks call you a bunch of names and creating the climate and threaten you with the rest so that you can learn how to manage your emotions. Most have good intentions, but they say, I lost it. Well, we don't want to lose it. So we came back and role played so we can get ready to go. That was part of our training. Okay? And I remember now, we had folks involved in the movement who had been in the military. They'd been to boot camp. Yeah. Jose Williams? Yeah. on the ship. And guess what his role was? A gunner. Yeah, a gunner on a Navy ship. Now getting involved in the nonviolent movement. Yeah, he lost some trainers. Okay? So, once we got our training, and they all us from Greensboro, North Carolina, we had a massive sympathetic demonstration. Didn't last long because no sooner we got downtown, we said, what are we doing sympathizing? We've been trained now, we need to start demonstrating now. We were ready, we went right back, Diane Nash, Jim Bevel, okay, all of us. Marion Barry, yeah. We all got together and went back down there. We had our first sit-in. But see, they had a reserve group. So in case of some people get beaten up or whatever, you have another arrested, you have a backup group. Like the military. We learned that. Reserve, okay? So we put all of our knowledge into play. And this is what Martin Luther King did. He drew from many different sources. He was eclectic. He drew from Thoreau, he drew from Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, okay? Yeah. Drew from many different sources, of course, New Testament. And therefore, he was able to put together, all right, a strategy that worked. All right? Yeah. Hegel was a German. He's the one that picked up and further developed the concept of the thesis, antithesis. Because you can't know your thesis unless you know your antithesis. You know that in higher education. As professors, we want to know how much do you know about the opposite point of view. But that would give us the assurance that you know, okay, what you're talking about. You know the opposite. You can't know one country unless you at least know two. Because it's by comparison, similarities, dissimilarities, that the true thesis come out. But then, Hegel went further and said it's not enough. If you want to know truth rather than truths, then you have to blend the best in your thesis and your antithesis and bring that together for your synthesis. And that's where you find truth. So Martin Luther King studied all that kind of stuff. Well, Jim Lawson was helping to teach us, to prepare us. That's why it's no coincidence that John Lewis, Diane Nash, Marion Barry, go down the line, okay? Out of Nashville. Moving forward fast. When the Freedom Rise got into difficulty in Birmingham, okay, and also Anderson, Alabama, they had to halt it. Well, these folks were crazy. They were beating up folks and burning buses and all that kind of stuff, etc. And they had promised to give protection. No. So, we had to stay, and we decided in Nashville we could not allow a non-violent movement to be stopped by violence. We'd already had it in Nashville. Oh, by the way, I should quickly say that the Nashville group desegregated the lunch counters downtown in 3 months before SNCC was formed. That's why it's no coincidence that two of your leaders of SNCC came out of Nashville, Marion Barry and John Lewis. So before, and guess what? Since we're talking about the Freedom Rise, guess what? We desegregated the lunch counters downtown, and guess what? The Greyhound bus station was downtown. Yeah. We desegregated the bus stations in 1960 in Nashville, not 61. So when the Freedom Rise got stopped, that was a motivation for us to keep going, because we'd already done that. You could drive from Virginia on a segregated bus, blacks in the back, whites in the front, until you got to Nashville. Then you could get off the bus, black and white, and use an integrated bus station. And you know, since desegregating the lunch counters and they have the restrooms segregated, right? I even have them segregated. Yeah, so it is desegregated the entire bus station, waiting room and everything else. But they decided, and the manager of the bus station, I never did figure it out. Some things I'm still trying to figure out. He allowed the people who look like they're students, you know, to go and integrate everything. But older black women, he made them go around and back through the alley in the kitchen to eat. If you're an older black woman. So we tested it out, because we had some older black women in our movement. So we set them around, and sure enough, he, the manager, Mama, he called him. Come on, go this way. Let me show you where you're going to eat. Porcelain table in the kitchen with grease dripping out of the ceilings. We said, no, we got to protect our women. We can't do that. Our mothers. I mean, I'm very particular me, because I was fighting for my grandmama. You know I ain't going to take that. So we went down there and talked to the manager. Manager, no, I told my staff that everybody my place is integrated. You don't have no problems here. The lunch counter pack the whole. He said, look, man, we ain't got time for any foolishness. He said, we're doing this while we're students, you know. So we had classes and stuff, so we didn't have no waste of time. So we said, look, man, you see that white boy sitting over in that stool over there? He's with us. He told us everything you did. He forgot that white folks went from him. Yeah. So anyway, we said, we're going to teach him a lesson. We had an all-night sit-in. We told him we were going all night. And we took our books with us so we could read and study, you know, for the next day. And he locked the door, turned out the lights, and I never understand this. He put tape on the refrigerator. As if he gonna cook something. 5:30 the next morning, I got up and told him to let me out. I need to go to the waiting room so I can make a phone call. And they let you out because that's what they wanted. They want you to get out of there. They'd already called the police. The police looked there and they're not going to house, including the train station. So while I was there making my phone call in this phone booth, you know, the other phone I was calling was in the hallway of the dormitory. We didn't have individual phones. And 5:30 in the morning, I was going to jump up and run and answer the phone, right? We were trying to get some cars to come pick us up so we can go back and get ready for class. And one of the cab drivers who'd been out there all night and the place was closed, and they usually get coffee at night, you know what I mean, while they wait on their rides. And they were giving us the finger all night and that kind of thing. He ran in that place and waiting room and kicked the door open, you know, because the phone booth had those doors, and grabbed me and put a headlock on me, you know, like that, pulled me out of the door of the waiting room, and 12 cab drivers proceeded to beat me up. It was in November, and I remember I had on my car coat, those light car coats, you know, the beige ones. They knocked me down to the ground, they kicked me, roll over, and in movement we learn to roll with the punch, because that way you absorb the energy of your opponent, like ropey-dope. Remember Muhammad Ali used to lay up with ropes and let his opponent go and hit him until he gets exhausted himself, and then he would take him out. So we learned from everybody. So every time they would hit and swing at me, I would go with the flow, just like the quarterback on the football team. That's why they don't get injured as much, even though they get tackled, because they go with the flow. All right? Yeah. So I was going with the flow, and they got me down on the ground and one of them kicked me in the face. And that was a hard kick, right in the face. Maybe that's what's wrong with my tooth now. I hadn't thought about that. Because that was a hard kick you did. I remember that part. Something I forget, you know, what happened last week, but I remember that. That big old shoe hit me in his face. got up and rolled up, and I stood up and looked at him. Right now. I said, he said, catch him, let's catch him. How are you going to catch somebody who's not running? No. So nonviolence does not mean doing nothing. It means you resist the temptation to imitate your opponent. Resist the temptation to imitate your opponent. Okay? Yeah. And instead of hitting them back, you don't give them stimulation. You take away that stimulation by not, okay, participating. But then you have to use the strength. Unusual but genuine behavior has the potential to arrest the conscience of your assailant. Unusual, but genuine. You know what I did genuinely? I looked at him and I said, if you gentlemen are through, I need to finish my phone call. To wipe the shoe print off my face. You take action, but you control your action. And what you do is take the action that you want them to emulate. Don't do what they want you to do. Like they want me to run. It's a big chase, you know. That's what good movies are all about. Big chase, right? No. You resist, but not retaliate. So I said, please excuse me, gentlemen. I called them gentlemen. Do you think they were acting like gentlemen? No, I was calling them gentlemen because I wanted them to learn how to behave like gentlemen. Please excuse me. So I walked on away. As I went on back into make my phone call, two policemen ran up and said, you're under arrest. And they grabbed me. And the young one, you can tell he was right out of, you know, school, you know, the academy. But he said, what are we going to charge him with? And the older one said, fighting. I said, oh, okay. Yeah. So he'd been out of the academy, so he was trained, you know, how to, you know. And he said, well, who was going to say he was fighting with? The older guy said, go get one of them. He was tired, you know, he didn't have to go through all that. You know, that's for regular folks. These are black folks. You know what I'm talking about? So they got him. They grabbed one of the fellas and brought him and put him in a paddy wagon with me. We couldn't, he wouldn't let us eat in the same place. But they put him in a paddy wagon and he put his hand, the one who was all that kicking and carrying on. When he got in the paddy wagon with me, he put his hands over his head and drew up in the corner.
That's right. That's right.
And I said to him, I'm the same on the inside as I am on the outside. Had double meaning. Yeah. But he didn't trust that. He put his hand. Well, short of it is they came down and put up my bond, get me out of jail. And we put up his bond. Yeah. So, that is one practical example of what it is. Now, James Farmer, I am so excited about this center. Yeah, I know him very well. That book he wrote, okay? James Farmer's book, some of you read it. Remember he talked about somebody called the Little Gandhi? That was me. Yeah, we were cellmates in Parchment, Mississippi on the Freedom Rides. After his father passed and he got back on the Freedom Rides, he came on down there. He ended up being my cellmate. Yeah, so he spent many hours, days, oh my goodness, in jail. Yeah, okay. Now, I'm going to conclude here because there are many different episodes, but I was involved in the Selma movement, so I don't even talk about that too much because it's in the book. But the one thing I want to give an example of here, and I learned a lot from James Farmer in terms of his tenacity, his ability, his fortitude to go ahead. He didn't mind being the example. He could well defend himself because he was big enough. But no, he didn't use his muscle, he used his mind. Yeah. He was a good example and a model for us as young people. And he was one who did not mind getting involved with other people. He didn't resist us as SNCC when we say we were going to continue the freedom rides. He didn't do that. He said yes. Because he wanted to encourage people to go ahead. John Lewis was on the original freedom rides. And the reason he wasn't there when the bus was burned, or people were beaten up in Birmingham on that core freedom ride, is because John Lewis was going to go to Africa, and he'd gotten off the freedom rides temporarily, went to Philadelphia, so he could make application to go to Africa. Like the Peace Corps type thing and all that. But it was the American Friends Service Committee, Quakers who were sponsoring something. Okay, and that's why he went. He was not there, but he rejoined the freedom rides. So John Lewis had all the material. He had the notebook, he had all the stops, he had the contact and everything else. So that's why we decided, we had the information. Diane had been our spokesman for the sit-ins, so she had all the skills we needed in terms of the media. You got to have good media contact if you want to have a successful movement. Okay? Yeah. So you got to be able to have all ground covered. And I'm going to stop at this point for question and answers, but I'll say the last words I have with Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King wanted me to be join his staff. I was working with the Quakers up in Chicago. I see you have the Chicago book back there too. That's another book you want to look at because it gives you some good ideas. And I was involved in the movement, but the Quakers, the American Friends Service Committee, it was like a real serious thing. They had vacation time. What kind of vacation we got when we were in jail? You took a little rest, You're talking about a rest you? See, I want some rest. Yeah. They had retirement. Retirement in a movement. Okay. So, and I talked to the Quakers, and they said, well, anything that Martin Luther King wants you to do, you just go ahead, we'll support you. So I told Dr. King, I said, well, anything you want to do, I'll do it. He said, no, I want you to come down to Atlanta. Because we're getting ready to reorganize SELC. And I need you down here. Well, I didn't do anything. Martin Luther King called me again. He said, because I asked him, I said, well, send me a job description. Martin Luther King said, you come down here and write your own job description. I said, okay. So I said, all right. So I told the Quakers, they've had paternity leave. you didn't have that, my baby. I could have one and he could get off. Yeah, the Quakers back in the 60s and I'm serious. So I said, okay, I'm coming, Dr. King. Now. He made me and you're looking at somebody here, okay? And I'm old enough now, I can tell you. He made me the program administrator of SELC. Program administrator. So you had Jim Bevel, director of direct action, Jose, director of voter registration, and this person, director of push, and director of the breadbasket and all that. I was their supervisor. Martin Luther King made me the supervisor of Jim Bevel and Jesse Jackson and all that. You know what I'm saying? Huh? And they turned around and made me the national coordinator of the Poor People's Campaign. That was his last campaign. Poor People's Campaign. So I was with him in Memphis on April 4th. Because when the march got broken up in violence, we all left Atlanta and went up to Memphis, okay, to do the march over again. I stayed up all night working on a press statement when Martin Luther King was speaking over at Mason Temple. I wasn't even there, you know. Martin Luther King didn't want to go. They called him. He was in the bed with his pajamas on. He was so exhausted and tired. It was pouring down raining. He didn't expect anybody to show up at the mass meeting. So he sent those in and sent Abernathy and Jesse, Dunlop, and Young. I was with him working on the press statement. And he got this phone call. His room was 306, mine is 206. I said, mine is 206, but I still got my key. Okay. We stayed up and worked on the press statements. And he got this phone call, and he said, are you telling me you want me to get up out of my bed, take off my pajamas, and get dressed, and come out in that pouring down raining, and it's raining cats and dogs? Yeah. And Abernathy said, yeah, this is your crowd. You know what that means, okay? Yeah, this is your crowd. They're waiting on you. They don't want to hear us. That Valentine's speech, he didn't prepare for that at all. At all. So he left on that day. He said, you stay here and work on the press conference and I'll be back. When he got back from that Valentine's speech, he wasn't ready to sit down and write on the press statement. So we started the next morning, which was April 4th, and we finished up. Martin Luther King's last words to me was this: I want you to go down to Washington, D.C. and have the press conference to open up the headquarters for the Poor People's Campaign. I'll be down there later. And as I began to close my little book and walk out, he said, by the way, Lafayette, called me Lafayette because it was Bernard Lee. So he could have, you know, distinguished between the two. Okay. Besides, the rest of them worked in the military. Jose and Bello, everybody called my last name in the military, right? Okay. So he said, Lafayette? I said, yeah. He said, now our next movement is going to be to internationalize and institutionalize nonviolence. I said, okay. Put a comma there. So, internationalize, institutionalize nonviolence. Martin Luther King was shot while I was in flight to D.C. When I arrived, Walter Fontroy was not there at the airport to pick me up, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I called the office, and they told me Walter Fontroy was out there with Stokely Carmichael trying to stop a riot, the riot out there on 14th and U. Yeah, Stokely Carmichael and Walter Fontroy. One fellow was screaming and shouting at them, telling them to call the fire department. Y'all call the fire department. He didn't have any know-how to, you know, telephone, call the fire department. He was so outraged he threw a Molotov cocktail in the window of one of these stores. He wasn't thinking that his grandmother lived upstairs. The fire goes up. He was outraged. So, in the conclusion, I didn't know what to do. Told me that Martin Luther King had been shot. I grabbed the news, grabbed the telephone around the circle there, and they had a circular telephone thing. They had more than one telephone, so I put one phone in one ear and one in the other. UPI and AP. Well, honestly, and I don't mind telling you, I'm old enough now to confess, I didn't think Martin Luther King was going to die. Okay, he got shot, but he also got stabbed in, you know, Central Park. He didn't die. So I didn't have any emotional response. I just wanted to see what they wanted me to do. And the white reporter was reading the ticker tape, okay? That's how they got news, the ticker tape, like a fax machine, little strips. And giving me the update on Martin Luther King's situation there in Memphis. And they got silent. And I could hear him sniffling. This white reporter was sniffling. That was how I knew Martin Luther King was dead. So they told me to go on to meet him in Atlanta because they were going to take his body to Atlanta, so not to come back to Memphis. That's why I still got my key. My door key, yeah. But Martin Luther King was a man of his words. He said he was going to meet me down there. He'd be down in Washington, D.C. And we planned the People's Campaign on the Mall. Sure enough, a few years ago, I looked up and there was Martin Luther King on the mall. That is what happened. He must have been around. So I changed my whole life and started getting ready to teach nonviolence all over the world. And that's where I've been, all over the world. Yeah. Mandela's campaign, yeah, I was there. The Nigerians were fighting over the Shell oil spill. I helped Jonathan Goodluck create the amnesty program, trained 60,000 Nigerians who were fighting the government. Now started getting training from the government. Yes. In Colombia, yes. They were killing 6 people a day in this prison called Bella Vista. We went down and trained the inmates to become trainers. And we carefully selected inmates because we wanted those who were lifers. So we have a tenured faculty. Okay? So those who went in prison, they go through the regular process, then they go and get trained by the inmates. Okay? In nonviolence. The death rate plummeted. So, Greenhaven prison, they were having riots. We went in 75 and created, okay, a training program and got them to start training each other in nonviolence. They sent them down to Goshen, which is the juvenile facility. They got these lifers who've been trained up in Greenhaven to go down to Goshen and train the youth. What better trainers in nonviolence for youth than the older lifers who were in prison? Yeah. So forth and so on. So I want to thank you and what you're doing, and you're making a difference. And I'm very proud of you. And I'm going to stay on my medication. Everything's going to be all right because history repeats itself. Yes. Remember we had Reconstruction period? A lot of folks were in office. They were elected officials all over. And something happened. Okay? It repeats itself, but it doesn't step back. It goes in circles. Because you keep some of the momentum, okay? But it depends on how wide that circle is. All right? So what we got to do is make sure we keep up with the circle so we can make sure we stay back on track. So sometimes we have to go backwards in order to appreciate the necessity of going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. LaFayette. Thank you so much. We are truly honored to have you here as our MLK keynote speaker. And I want to especially thank you so much for your courage, your conviction, your sacrifices, and your leadership. We really appreciate it. Let's give Dr. LaFayette.